What's going on, y'all? Welcome to episode 2 of the Manga Noob podcast. Thank you so much if you tuned in to episode 1, and I hope that you enjoy episode 2 just as much. I'm so excited to get back into some Spy X Family. So today we're going to be covering mission 2 of Spy Family, but before we get into that, I just want to introduce myself in case this is your first time. My name is Galen. I am literally a manga noob. I am new to the world of manga and to this whole adventure. I started reading it and decided that I wanted to talk about it because I love anime, but there's just something special about reading manga. And although we are starting off with Spy Family, down the road I'm going to be introducing A Sign of Affection and also Naruto. So that way, listen, you can get you can get a little bit of everything, okay? You're going to get every single thing that you have ever wanted to talk about. So I am so very excited about that. Also, if you want to watch the video version of this podcast, you can head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/powerofg, or I have like a video audio version over on my YouTube. They call me Mr. G. So I hope that you enjoy. I hope that you love it, and let's go ahead and get into it. Now, before we get into this episode, clearly there are going to be spoilers. If you don't want to know what's going to happen and you want to read it for yourself, then you may want to click on off and then come back. Don't just leave and don't come back. Go read it or watch it and then come back. So let's do a quick little recap of what happened in Mission 1. In Mission 1, we meet Loid Forger, who is actually known as Twilight. He is a spy, and he is being tasked, with getting close to Donovan Desmond, which is just the single greatest name that I think I've heard in it. Like in anything. I don't know. Anyway, I've already told y'all that would be my code name. If I go into the witness protection program, y'all can identify me very easily because that's going to be my name. Anyway, he's tasked with finding Donovan Desmond, and in order to do that, he has to enroll his child into this elite school. The problem is that he does not have a child. So his mission is to find a child, find a family, and enroll that child into this school. So what we see is Loid creating this identity for himself. We see him get an apartment. We see him go to an orphanage and pick out a child. Enter Anya, who is our telepathic little oddball. She's just the cutest little thing. And he just picks her. He's like, you know what? She's the best of the bunch. I'll take her. So after some mishaps and after some adventures, Anya passes the exam and she passes the entrance exam. We are so happy for our girl. Now, here comes the problem, is they have to do an interview where both parents have to be present. And you know what? I want to stop and I want to talk about that for just a quick second before we get into Mission 2. Because the elitism and the discrimination in assuming that all these people are going to have two parents, a two-parent household, is kind of crazy to me. And I didn't really catch it at first. I went back and I reread it just so I could kind of make sure I wasn't tripping. And the fact that it specifically says both parents have to be present. What if it's a situation where one of the parents has gone on to glory? So you telling me that if someone has a parent that has, passed away, they just can't get into school? I don't know how I feel about that. Actually, I know exactly how I feel about that, and I don't like it. But I do think that paints a very specific picture of this school, and that actually makes sense that they would do something like that, because this is a school where they have a very specific image that they're trying to portray. So it makes sense that they would be like, girl, if you ain't got both parents, you don't need to be here. I don't know. Anyway, what we actually see of the school is crazy. When we get into the part where we actually see the school and we actually have the admissions thing, I'm telling you, it gets ridiculous, but I am skipping so far ahead. Let's just get into talking about Mission 2. So in Mission 2, the main objective is for Loid to find a wife. He has to find a wife so that they can go to the interview, so that they can pass. And he's like, how in God's name am I gonna find a wife? That don't even make sense. What's funny is that at the beginning of the chapter, they have Frankie, who's his informant. They have him dressed up as a woman. Frankie looks a mess if Frankie were to go on Drag Race, he's getting eliminated first episode. Frankie with that wig. If I can, I'm going to put a picture up just so that you can see it. I'm telling you, the way I was so tickled, because I was like, girl, what is this? And even Loid is like, you do not make a good woman. This is not going to prosper. We need to go ahead and stop this. Because when they say no weapon formed against me shall prosper, you're the one weapon that will. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put you on the back burner. But thank you. So after we deal with Frankie and Loid for a second, we switch over and we meet my bae. We meet the love of my life. Oh my God, I love her so much. We go down to City Hall or like whatever their government office is, and we learn that someone broke in and they stole all the personnel files of the women in I was like, you couldn't have been a little bit more coy. You couldn't have been a little bit more like inconspicuous. You just had to be as loud as humanly possible by stealing all of the personnel files of the women in the office. Yeah, because nobody's going to be concerned about that. But what's so funny is the women are talking and they are just kind of like, ooh, that is weird. Ooh, should we be worried? And I'm like, girl, yes, you should be. Like, why is this not more concerning to y'all? And then we get, again, some good insight into who these women are. Because one of the women is saying that somebody in the building was ogling them. And is it ogling? Is it ogling or is it ogling? Girl, I don't remember how it's actually pronounced. I am going to say, I'm just going to say he was looking at her, okay? That's what we're going to say. And she's saying that, and her coworker is like, it's those short skirts you wear. And I was like, oh, okay. Wowzers. I said, wow, we're very serious about that. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna pass judgment because I don't know what led that lady to say that. So I just chose to let it go and move on to the next panel, child. So then we enter my sweetest love, Yor. One of her co-workers asked her, girl, doesn't this like creep you out a little bit? Doesn't it make you feel a little uncomfy? And Yor literally says, I guess. Yor's like, sure, whatever. Like, as soon as my baby said, I guess, I should have known right then and there that she was going to be cutting up. Because my girl immediately was like, whatever. Yeah, sure. Yes, it makes me uncomfortable. But I think this gives us a good moment to kind of see that Yor is a little bit socially inept, right? She doesn't have necessarily the skills to talk to the people around her. She's not fully capable of having a back and forth conversation, because to her, it is very much just like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, yes, sure. Yeah. We also get this little moment where her coworkers are like, oh, is that the Chief's coffee? We should put snot in it. And Yor goes, will that make it taste better? Girl, Yor stresses me out. She does. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to y'all. Yor stresses me because sometimes my girl can be too nonchalant. And I'm like, girl, let's be serious here for a second with ourselves, okay? So at this point, we start to get a little bit of information that apparently people can just get reported for being a spy at any given moment. And I did not realize how big of an actual issue this is for this specific story. It didn't even occur to me until I went back and reread it and was like, that could really not work in their favor. Because apparently there was this one woman who was 30 years old and her neighbors found it suspicious that she was still single. So they reported this woman and she got carted away to jail. So I'm just sitting here like, wait a minute, what you mean? What do you mean 30 and unmarried is weird? And they're standing there talking about like, yeah, that is very, very strange. So of course her co-workers, being the jerks that they are, of course they start teasing her and they're like, oh, you're 27 and you're unmarried. Should we report her? And I was like, don't even play with me like that. I should have known right then and there that I was going to have beef with that lady. Anyway, I'm going to let it go because we're going to get back to her later on, okay? We're getting back to her because I'm not going to forget you, Camilla. Me and you got beef. And I'm going to read her in just a little bit after she gets read. So Yor has a lot going on because first off, her coworker, the same one that I was just talking about, she invites her to a party at her house and is like, "Oh yeah, you should bring somebody." So Yor is already stressed out enough. Then she gets a call from her brother, and her brother immediately goes in and is just like, "Oh, I'm up for a promotion, but I don't want to take the job because I need to stay and take care of you. When are you gonna find somebody? When are you gonna get married?" My guy, you just picked up the phone. My God, I couldn't even imagine somebody just picking up the phone and immediately being like, "When are you gonna get married?" Because I can't keep worrying about you. I got, I got stuff I'm trying to do. Okay, and I cannot spend my time anymore worrying about you. I need you to either get married or hush, like one of the two. I need you to do one of the two. And I'm just like, girl, I don't know, cause me personally, I just had to fight him. I mean, like that's the only thing I can think to do at that point is we just got to throw hands because get off my phone. So Yor does something that I think makes sense. She lies and says that she has a boyfriend and that she's taking him to the party. So her brother says, "Oh, really? Well, I got someone that's gonna be there and he can tell me all about it." This woman can't catch a break. And that's why Yor is my sweetest love. Because she just from all angles. But I think it's so interesting the way that her singleness is being approached. And we don't have to get into a full blown discussion about this right now. But I do think the fact that she is a single woman could be reported because she is a single woman of a certain age. Whereas nobody has brought up the fact that Loid is single with a child. Nobody has brought that up. Nobody has said anything. Nobody has said that it seems like an issue. Nobody has even mentioned reporting him. But through Yor, that's what we get. So I think that this is also showing us a little bit about how they see women, the fact that maybe they don't see them as, but I'm not going to say as equal. I am going to say that there is clearly a bias. There is clearly a woman should be this at this particular time. And anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because it is something that I didn't realize was like that big of an issue. And I just want to say one more time, Camilla, me and you, babes. It's me and you whenever I see you. We in the streets. Now this is where my love, oh my God, this is where my love for this woman comes in. Because she gets a call after she gets off the phone with her brother and she thinks it's him again. But this guy says, I have a job for you, Thorn Princess. They call her the Thorn Princess. Ugh, I just live for it. So she goes to this really fancy hotel, right? And the security guards are like, "Ma'am, this is a private event. This is a private floor. You can't come up in here." She just goes ahead and yeets them real quick. Okay, she gets them on out the way. They don't even matter in this scenario. And she goes in there and she talks to this guy. And she's like, "May I have the pleasure of taking your life?" Oh, I was so gagged at that moment. I promise you that the way that I actually stood up, because I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Not my love just asked this man this. I'm telling you the way I was gagged in that moment. So of course she takes him out. She takes everyone in the room out. And then she's worried because her dress got stained. She can't get the blood out of her dress. And she's worried because this is the only nice dress that she has. And I'm just like, ma'am, the fact that she did all of that and was like, "Oh no," and then she rips it and she just is like, "This is just not my day, darn it." And I don't know why it tickled me so bad that that's the thing that pushed her over. It was like everything else was light work. And I think she even says at one point, the only cleaning house that I'm good at is cleaning house. No, she says the only house cleaning I'm good at is cleaning house. That's what she said. And you cannot tell me that that line does not eat. You cannot. That's what I love about the writing as well, is you get really good insight into who the actual characters are and they have personalities. Like, I feel like sometimes when you read, it can be kind of hard to get a sense of who these people are because it just kind of feels like words on a page. But I think that's what I like about manga so much is you get this opportunity to really see who these characters are, and you get a chance to see why they're saying things the way that they're saying them. And for me, I I love that. Like, I love that it helps me visualize what I'm looking at. Wait, visualize what I'm looking at. It helps me, yeah, because it helps me to visualize like these characters and how they interact with the world around them. So yeah, that works. So we head back over to Frankie and Loid, and of course Frankie is the one who stole the papers. I mean, that doesn't even need to be said. I mean, it was so clunky. Of course it was him, because I feel like Loid would have just made copies or something. I feel like he would have just snapped some snapshots or something. Frankie just went completely over the top. So they're stressing over finding a woman, and it was so sweet. Anya, bless her heart. She was like, am I the reason that you can't find a mama? And he encourages her, and he's like, no, it has nothing to do with you. We're just trying to get into the school. That's all. And it was such a sweet little moment. And he knows how to be sweet, whether he meant it or not. Whatever, but he knows how to be sweet to her. This is also where we get some more information on why his mission can't just be easy. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. So Frankie is asking, why can't they just get a female operative to come work with you? And Loid says it's because of what happened. Like, they all got reported, and so they did this big sweep, and so all of them are gone, and we're horribly understaffed. And I was like, that's why he can't just go get, because I was kind of wondering, like, why not just get a female spy to come in and help? But they can't, because of the same thing that's impacting Yor potentially. She could get reported at any moment because she's unmarried, and that's what happened to these female operatives. And I'm just like, interesting, because you never would have thought to pair them up. You know, you wouldn't even think like, oh, let's put them with a man so that way it can seem like they're a couple and they can move in secrecy and silence. Who would expect that people would just start reporting women? Because girl, I'm telling you that this is a mess. Like, this whole system, but it speaks to the bigger system that's even an issue. And it also, I think, speaks to them that everyone is so concerned about spy work, because on the opposite side of it being, you know, directed towards these women, because I feel like that's low-key kind of like a modern day witch hunt. It's also the fact that so many people are suspicious that people are spying, but that goes back to kind of like what's going on between these two nations. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, so there's a lot of things that people are trying to do, and people are scared, they're panicking. Anyway, it sets a really good tone for the world. So at this point, Frankie pretty much reads Anya and is like, nobody is going to believe that this child is coming from the lap of luxury. And so Loid decides to go ahead and take Anya to get some new clothes. So while we're there getting some new clothes, who do we just so happen to meet but Yor? Loid kind of wants to approach Yor, but he's not sure what to do. Our sweet, precious angel baby is so perceptive. She's like, excuse me, sir. You've been looking at me. What's good? And Loid is like, wait a minute. I didn't even... How did she realize I was looking at her? Because it's not like I was staring at her. He is very impressed by the fact that she is so perceptive. So when Yor finds out that he has a child, she's kind of like, okay, maybe I should just leave this alone. Let him do what he's gonna do, because I don't need no woman coming after me, because then I'm gonna have to kill her. So that's when Anya can hear her thoughts and realizes that she's an assassin. And she's like, wait a minute, an assassin, a spy? This is golden. So that's when Anya clocks in. And this is what I love about that child. This is when Anya clocks in. And she's like, I miss mama so much. She is just so extra. And I just love that child. And so Loid is kind of looking at her like, what the hell is going on with her? And then Yor says, oh, is your wife away? And that's when he says, no, my wife passed away. And then our sweet angel, Yor, is like, yes. So they talk a little bit, and Yor is basically like, look, I just need you to pretend to be my boyfriend. That's all I need from you. And she's kind of looking at him like, I know that's a weird request. And Loid is just like, okay, cool. That's fine with me. I just need you to do one thing. And she's like, wait, huh? So he says, I just need you to pretend to be Anya's mother. And basically Yor is like, okay, cool. Hey, I can do that. That's fine. I can absolutely do that. That's weird, but okay. And I just love the fact that both of them are just whatever we got to do. Both of them are just like, whatever we got to do. So then Loid gets a new mission, and it was so cool the way he did it. Like they went to a register, and this guy gave him something and was like ribbit at the end. He said ribbit. And Anya's like, what the hell is going on here? But anyway, so Loid finds out that he has to stop this like smuggling ring, but it's right before the party that they're supposed to go to. The party? Girl, the party stressed me out. Like, the party had me to the point where I was like, if you don't mess Camilla up, I absolutely will. Now, needless to say, Frankie and Loid get caught up in the mission, right? Because they think everything is easy peasy, but of course Frankie has to take some stuff, and then the people from the ring follow behind them. So it turns into a car chase. It just turns into a mess. So of course Loid is late, and so when Yor shows up alone, Camilla starts just going in on her. She's talking crazy to her. She's over there like talking about her in corners and all this and that. It's just foolishness. Camilla is really trying to embarrass this woman. And then Yor is telling the guy, who it turns out that her brother's friend is actually Camilla's husband or boyfriend. I'm not sure if it's boyfriend or husband, but Yor is saying like, can you just not mention this to my brother? And then Camilla's like, no, of course he's going to tell every single word, every single everything. And it just made me sick. Like, she is just such a hateful, catty woman. And I hate when they portray women like that, but she made my skin crawl. So then Loid comes in, and Loid is beaten and bloody. And he introduces himself as Yor's husband because he got their missions kind of like mixed up and their goals mixed up. And he didn't just say like, I'm her boyfriend. He just announces that that's her husband. Camilla gets pissed off. There's no other way. I'm talking about as soon as Camilla hears that, she is skyrocketed to the moon. She is triggered. She is pressed like a panini. So what Camilla ends up doing, she has some food and she tries to spill it on Yor. Yor effortlessly, without even flinching, without even moving a muscle, just kicks her leg up and catches the platter on her foot. And a little bit of it gets on Camilla's nose. And I say, yes, ma'am. This is why this is my girl. Like, she wasn't even looking like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. She was just like, okay. And so at this point, Camilla gets even more angry. And even her husband is like, you need to calm down because you look crazy right now. Camilla starts to try to tell Loid, your wife used to give massages in hotel rooms and these men would call her and blah, 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 blah. And Loid is like, she was taking care of her brother. I don't know what to tell you. I find it very admirable. And she's a good mother to my child. Girl, Yor was looking like, I'm telling you, if they had been in a real marriage, Yor would have went to that house and that would have been a wrap. Like that night, anyway, I'm a hush. Yor was looking at him like he hung the moon and the stars when he said that, because she was really looking at him like, oh my God, you believe in me. You're gonna say all that about little old me? It was a sweet moment. Like, outside of the foolishness of Camilla, it really was a sweet moment. So after they leave, the people that were chasing them earlier, they start chasing them. And my girl is like, wait a minute, you're a psychiatrist. What's going on? And then Loid, he says something, but I can't remember specifically what he says. But he's basically just like, you know what? Sometimes you just got to play along with their fantasy. Sometimes you just get caught up in things. And I said, you know what? That's going to be my motto in life, is sometimes you just get caught up in stuff. So the people are chasing them and they're running behind them. And as they're running away, one of them tries to attack. And Loid is like, oh my God, no, I got to protect. Yor effortlessly takes care of herself. And Loid is like, oh, wait a minute. And she says, oh my God, what? I did that? That's so crazy. And I said, girl, save it. I said, girl, please save it. You sound crazy right now. Loid asks our sweetest love to marry him. And it is the most, I'm not gonna lie, it was a beautiful moment, because he takes a grenade and he pulls the pin out. He throws the grenade back there to the people that were chasing them and he blows them up. And all you see is the fire behind them, and then him putting the little ring on her finger, and the two of them gazing into each other's eyes and being like, when my mission is over, when I stop killing people, we're gonna be good. then we can part and we can go our separate ways. But for right now, we need to be together. That was probably my favorite panel so far. Like, that was probably my favorite image thus far from this entire thing, because it was so beautiful. I was like, whoever did this, y'all ate that up. Like, I don't know which one, I don't know who illustrated it. I'm sure, like, the name, but I'm saying, like, I don't know them personally, but it was such a beautiful panel. Oh my God. It was, I'm telling you, one of my favorites. And with that, we end mission 2, and we are ready to go to the next phase of the plan that we will cover in mission 3. Oh my God, this was such a good chapter. Oh my God, I feel like we got a lot of good information about the world that we're in. We got a lot of information on how the spy system works. We got information on the fact that people don't really trust people here. We get this good information on Yor and this amazing introduction, and then we get a chance to see the competitiveness between her and it's not even competitiveness. Her coworker genuinely is just a hateful shrew, and I feel like it's gonna come back to bite them at some point. I'm not quite sure how. I'm not sure what she's gonna be able to do, but I do know that that's probably gonna come into play later on. And I'm so excited to see Yor and Anya. I'm so, like, I just cannot wait to see how Yor and Anya are gonna interact, because Yor don't have no social skills, right? And then our baby Anya is just a little oddball. She's just a little piece of work. And so it's just going to be fun to watch the two of them interact and kind of see what they do, because is the comedy is going to ensue, and nobody can tell me any different. Now, before we really get into like some of my favorite moments and some of what I consider to be the best moments from each one of the characters, I want to show y'all something real cute that I got. Now, if you're watching the video version, you'll be able to see it. If you're not, then you're just going to get the description. So this is the Spy Family official anime guide. And I want to say it goes up to, let's check. Oh, it comes with a little poster. Am I supposed to rip that out? Because I'm not going to. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Look, oh my God. Okay, this eats. Look, I think you can see. Yeah, look at this. Baby, this eats. Oh, and look at the little one on the back. It's so cute. They said, baby, listen, they are a dual family, okay? They can give you all of it. This only goes up to mission, I want to say 6. I think it may be, y'all, it's so cute. Look, it's got them in all these different outfits. Oh my God, look, there's, for some reason, Laura is playing, not Yor, Loid. I keep putting, Yor and Loid's names together, but look, oh my gosh. If you can't see this, then head on over to patreon.com so you can see the video version. And I think that you are going to absolutely enjoy this if you can't get this book. It has some amazing pictures in here. Like, look at the character designs. Look. Oh, my goodness and gracious, in heaven alive. They have my baby dressed up like the parent. This is so worth it. Anywho, I got this. Yes, it goes up to mission 12. Okay, never mind. So I got this so that way we could have a cute little companion piece and just something to sort of talk about and bring up, so we can, they have our information on mission 2 here. And so I'm going to read a little bit of what they have. So what this does is really just go through the mission and tell you different little things. It has different pictures from the mission. It has different moments, like when she said, "I've heard that a traitorous scumbag is staying here." That moment ate. And one of the things that I love about this, and the reason that I went ahead and bought it, is because they're in color. And when you're looking at the manga, it's in black and white. And there's just something about seeing all of this in color and seeing it animated so well and drawn so well that just, I don't know, it just does something. Now, one of the highlights that they have is Anya's quick wit connects them. And they said, Lord, why do I keep saying Lord? Loid and Yor both desire a partner, but are extremely wary due to the nature of their jobs. Anya wishes to continue living with her papa and uses her telepathy to bring them together. It won't be the last time her quick wits strengthen the bonds of her family. The threat of returning to the orphanage if she doesn't get into Eden Academy draws out Anya's inner actress. Because, baby, when my girl hit that floor and she said, I miss mama so much, I said, you know what? Where's the Oscar? Where's the Tony? Where's the Emmy? Give my baby everything. Even if the Emmy doesn't apply, she used her voice. So give her something she deserves. She needs to be an EGOT. Why is my baby not an EGOT for the way she did that? Because she absolutely is the reason that those people are together. And I will hear nothing else about it. So you know what? I'm going to agree with them and I'm going to let that be her best moment, her highlight from it. Because she really did eat and she facilitated the two of them getting together. Now my favorite Loid moment from this whole situation is when he pulls that ring off. And then he throws the grenade over there to them people. And then he puts the ring of the grenade on our baby girl's hand. Because the way that she was just in amazement. She was like, she was speechless. And you want to know what? I understand fully why she was. Because so was I. I really wanted to tell a girl, if you don't marry him, I will. I promise you. I'm not joking when I say that. I will absolutely marry him if you don't do what you need to do. I will fight you in the street for that man. I'm gonna lose, but that's okay because you need to get on it. But no, it was just such a beautiful and dramatic moment. And it's like the fact that he officiates their own wedding. That was the funniest part. Was he's like through rich or for poor or whatever he said. And I'm just like, why are y'all getting married right now? This is not the moment to get married. Loid said, girl, if we make it out of this alive, that's all we need, okay? Now for let's just be honest here. When she showed up to that place and she was like, may I have the honor of taking your life? Girl, that was her best moment. I'm so sorry to tell you. Like, if you disagree, I fully understand. Because she had a lot of good standout moments. Like she, when she caught the food tray on her leg, when she kicked that man when they were running away from the bad guys. Like, she absolutely ate. But there's just something about when my baby walked in there and we see her twirling that dagger and then she says that, I was just like, you know what? Mama ate. Because it wasn't just the action. It was the look. Like, you get her in her silhouette and her in this dark dress and her hair is just, and she looks so beautiful. And then you've got the contrast with the dagger. It just was the perfect moment. She really looked like the assassin that you are frightened of. Like the one that you hear stories about in like whispers. That was how she was looking. And I love a good femme fatale character. And then you turn around and you get her going back to her normal self and be like, oh my God, I ripped my dress. Like you get this dual personality from her. And it just really sinks home. Like she's really a sweet person, but she's doing this horrible thing. And then she knows she needs to cover her tracks because she's like, I'm not going to keep doing this for the rest of my life. But it was just like, all I can do is clap. That was the standout moment for Yor. Now, one of the big themes that I think is going to come from this is how they're going to juggle their identities because both of them are doing this for a specific reason. Yor is trying to like stay under the radar. She doesn't want anyone knocking at her door, asking her anything, and that includes her brother and the police. She doesn't want to get reported, but then she also doesn't want her brother in her business. Then you got Loid, who's a whole super spy. Then you throw in Anya, who's trying to hide the fact that she's telepathic. So between all of that, that's gonna be, I think, what drives the story from here. It besides her trying to get into the school and then maybe her antics in the school, I think the big thing is gonna be how are they gonna keep these secrets from each other, especially like if Yor or Loid gets drunk, right? Let's say they let themselves get drunk. How are they gonna hide that? Are they gonna just start doing stuff and then be like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then eventually somebody's gonna be like, it's like they're gonna ask Anya, it's like you're reading my mind. And Anya can think quick on her feet, but she also can't at the same time. So it's like, how is she gonna handle that? I want to say one thing real quick about my favorite moment. My favorite moment from this entire chapter was the final panel. That final panel where you have them in this big boom and then Yor is just looking at him like he hung the moon and the stars, and he's got this like stoic, handsome look on his face. Girl, that was my favorite panel. I actually don't remember if it was the final one. That was just the one that I remember like being last, because that was the one that I was just like, this is it. Like, this chapter, there was nothing else they could have done after that. I don't even remember if they did anything. Now, I realize how crazy that sounded for me to be like, I don't remember what the last panel was. So I went back and looked, and that was one of the last panels. So it was that, and then it was them saying, till our mission's over, whatever, do we part? And then that was the final. But essentially, the big boom was the final one. That was my favorite moment. It was like the drama of it, the drama of the boom, the drama of them holding hands. You're looking at Loid like he just was the it man, like he was just the last thing standing. And I stand that so much. I'm so invested in seeing if they get together and seeing how they work together. And I'm just so ready to see how my sweet precious angel babies make it through all of this. I literally am rooting for them. I don't know any other way to say it. I'm actually rooting for these people. Okay, so there are a couple of things that I think are going to happen going forward. So here's just a couple of my little theories. One, I think Anya and Loid are going to fall for each other. Neither one of them is really going to know how to express it, but especially, I feel like Loid especially is going to be the one that's going to be like, I don't even know what this is that I'm feeling. And I think that the two of them are going to have a really hard time saying that, but eventually they're going to get together. Or one of them is going to die. It's going to be one of the two. Somebody going to die, or they're going to get together. I also think that Anya is going to be way too much for Yor to handle, because Anya's very perceptive, but then she also has the telepathy. And I just feel like between the energy that she has and also the way that she can clock people really effortlessly, I feel like Yor, who's kind of socially inept, is not going to know how to handle her. I don't feel like she's really going to know how to interact with her. And I don't think that's a problem. It's just going to be fun kind of watching how she, overcomes those hurdles. Now, I also think that Yor's coworkers, especially Camilla, are going to be pissed off. I think the other ones are going to be okay. It's going to be Camilla. Camilla is going to be the one who's going to be the problem. She hates Yor. I feel like she doesn't like anybody. I feel like even the other coworkers that she's friends with, I feel like she hates them. But Yor, how dare you? How dare you come in here and embarrass me like this? And then you're the one that I laughed at, and now you have a husband who's fine? Girl, Camilla is finna be after that woman. So it'll be fun to see how that storyline resolves itself. So this whole thing is building towards an interview that's coming up. And I think that's going to be our next big challenge, is not even just figuring out how to work together as a family, but getting through this interview. You're going to have to pretend like you've known each other for so long. You're going to have to pretend like you have this life built, and you don't. And I'm kind of with Loid, the fact that it all pretty much hinges on other people, especially Anya, because Anya's the one who has to perform. She's the one who has to get into the school. She's the one who has to go forward with it. So I can absolutely 100% see Loid having a breakdown, because girl, my nerves will be bad going into that interview in the next chapter. I don't know if it's the next chapter, actually. It might be the chapter after this. So we'll just have to buckle up and get ready. Now, okay, y'all know that I've been rating these names. Donovan Desmond is still at the top, okay? Donovan Desmond is absolutely still there. The list that I have is Donovan Desmond, Yor, Loid, and then Anya. I made a choice between Loid and Anya, and I put Loid before Anya. Now, here's the thing. Y'all gonna hate me. And you're going to think that I'm a hypocrite. And that's okay, because I probably am. I really don't care. I think Camilla is going to go before Yor. And I'm going to tell you why. Camilla is... I love any name that ends in an A. So like Camilla, Alexandra, things like Victoria. Like I love those kind of names because they're so dramatic. And it's like, you have to end it with an. So for me, for me, for Galen. There's something about Camilla. Now, you may be asking yourself, but wait a minute, Galen. Anya ends in an but Anya, just the name, I don't know. There's something about it that one in this context is just not as punchy. Like something that has so many syllables, like Victoria, Alexandra, like all of those. You got to do all of that, but it's like Anya. You know what I'm? Yeah. Do you hear what I'm? You hear what I'm going for? You hear what I mean? It's like Camilla, and then you got Anya. It's a little too close to onion for me. And that's why of this list, I have her name at the bottom. Now, if this was Buffy, I feel like Anya, even though I'm kind of half and half on her character, I feel like I probably would like put her above like Willow. Because Willow is like meh. And Faith. I feel like I would put Anya above those two names. But here, she just, she kind of falls to the bottom of the barrel for me, name-wise. But Donovan Desmond, still gonna... Not me having the villains at the top. Wait a minute. Because now, I'm starting to notice a pattern. Galen, it's giving villain. It's giving that I'm in my villain era. Because why do I have the villains at the top? Let's just say Twilight might not be the only one with secrets. Let me shut up, child. Let me shut up. With that, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this episode here. This has been so much fun going through Mission 2. I hope that you enjoyed the episode. Please remember to follow the podcast on your preferred podcasting app, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. And the audio version is also available on my YouTube. They call me Mr. G. It'll be available every Monday at 11:30. Also, if you want to see the video version, then head on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/powerofg. I think that you are going to love it over there. You can become a free member, or you can explore our tiers where you get benefits like exclusive watch parties, you get exclusive polls, you also get some bonus content, including 2 bonus manga episodes a month. Ooh, oh my God. So I think that you're absolutely going to love it there. And I'm so glad that I had you here to enjoy this episode with me. Please leave a little comment. Let me know. I think you can leave comments on Spotify. So just let me know, what did you think? And what's your order of names? That's the biggest thing I want to know. Like, how would y'all rank the names so far? And I know, don't come for me because of Camilla. I know I shouldn't have added that lady, but I just felt like I had to. So you can also follow me on TikTok at They Call Me Mr. G. You can find me on Instagram at They Call Me Mr. G. Pretty much anywhere you can find me at They Call Me Mr. G. I make some amazing Charmed content. I make some amazing Buffy content. I really focus on supernatural shows, but I'm really, really getting into manga right now. So who knows? There may be some manga content coming. You just gotta, you gotta follow me to see. So I'm going to go ahead, wrap this episode up, and I cannot wait to see y'all next week so we can start to get ready for the interview. We are going to see our people, learn what it's like to be a family. We're going to watch them try to craft Anya into the perfect child that's going to be able to get into this school. Will they be able to do it? Who knows? You're going to have to come back next week to find out with me. So I will see y'all, and thank you again for tuning in to the Manga Noob. I will talk to y'all later. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Bye.